What is going on, guys? Fire Pro Wrestling World. Now, the whole purpose in this video is to just talk about why this is the most underrated game in my opinion, this is the most underrated game. Now, in Japan, it's a hot seller. It's a Japanese game. It has New Japan Pro Wrestling on here. But in America, it's people don't give this game enough credit. They do have their fan base, but it doesn't get enough, in my opinion. This game is absolutely incredible. Now, let's just get into it for a minute. Just give you some of the stuff you can do in this game before we even get into gameplay. You can create moves in this game. I'm going to show you some of the moves that I created in this game, just to give you some examples here. Let's take a look at some of these moves that I created. Here's a move called You Are Screwed. That's the name of the move. Let's see what that move looks like. It's been a while since I've messed with this stuff. Look at that. That's absolutely crazy. That's devastating right there. I mean, that is a dangerous move. And when you see those numbers and those sequences on the right-hand side and bottom, when I first seen that and I was trying to create moves, I just couldn't figure it out. It was frustrating, but once I figured it out, it was cool. I have a tutorial video on it. If you want the link to it, leave a comment below. Say, I want help with the creative moves, and I'll put the link in the comments. Okay, so let's take a look at one of my other ones, F10. There is actually a move called the F10 right now, but before that, I knew that the F10, I created this move a while ago. That's really just the F5. You're just spinning a lot longer. That's all that really is. I think the real F10 is like you spin them a lot more in the air. But anyway, the reverse faceplex, I don't remember what that looks like. Let's take a look at it. Oh, here we go. And as you can see, there's like a skip moment. But it's like basically he's just grabbing the legs and slamming it. That's, you can do that in it. You can create moves like that in this. You can create fictional moves, man. Let me show you this move called Over the Moon. Look at that. That looks absolutely nuts. Just throw him way up in the air and watch him come down and land on his neck. You can create just crazy moves in this game, man. It is endless fun to create moves in this game. And again, it looks difficult, but once you got it figured out, it's really, really cool. Let's take a look at edit mode. How many games will let you create a referee? When you create a referee in Fire Pro Wrestling World, you select, let me go to load let me go to load. You select how fast they count. Downtime is like when they get hurt. How long are they down? Are they knocked out for a while? Do they get up fast? Whatever the case may be. How fast do they count their pinfalls? So what referee you put in your match is going to play a role in how that match goes. You have look at that, run-in check. That's when the guy, tries to come into the ring and he's, checking on that. Involvement. Voice, you select a voice for your referee. They have male and female voices in this that you can select for each character that you create in this game. So, yeah, you can create referees, and it's not just an avatar. Each referee behaves differently, based on who you select. If you want to create a very strict referee that's firm, if you want to select a referee that kind of just lets it go and just kind of lets them fight, you can create a referee like that. That is absolutely crazy. You can create referees in this game. Obviously, you can create your stable. You can create your belt. Let's take a look at belts. Let's take a look at belts because there is an option to create 8 and 6-man tag belts. Now, how crazy is that? Now, I know there's some promotions that have that in it. I don't know which wrestling organizations have it, but I think I remember there was I don't know if it's NWA or whichever one it is, but One of them had that. I can't remember which organization it was, but you can create that in this game. And then you got this where you can download created wrestlers, community created wrestlers. You can also download your logos in this game. Download logos because I created some rings. Let's take a look at rings because I created some rings and I downloaded some logos. As you can see, X Force Boxing. I created some generic. There's a Dos Equis ring. You know, these are logos that I created, but I didn't create these logos. You can't create logos in the game. I created it with a phone, with a logo creator on an app, and that's how I created that. So you have an Anarchy Rules logo here. So yeah, these are, I basically used, and I created, look at that logo right there. It's MMA wrestling, like a hybrid. We're going to get into that in a minute. We're going to talk about that because that is, you got boxing, wrestling. Because yes, you can do that in this. I created a kickboxing ring. Let me talk about that because we got to get into that. That's another thing that makes this game absolutely incredible. Okay. If you never played Fire Pro Wrestling and you're into wrestling games, you're definitely missing out. I'm just gonna let you in on that. I didn't mean to go to online matches, but let's go to offline. Okay, let's go here. You got your normal matches, wrestling matches, pinfall, submission. We know what that is. Cage death match, steel cage match. Okay, so if I do a steel cage match and I go to settings, I can do escape or pinfall. I can even do 2 counts. This game has 2 counts in it. You have that option on here. So if you do 2 count and you create a referee that counts really fast, that would definitely change the course of how your matches are going to go, for sure. You got pinfall only, which means the difference between selecting this and this is if you select pinfall only, that just means there's no submission. If you select this, you have submission also. You can do submission only if you want to. But yeah, you have different options for your steel cage match. So that's your steel cage match. You got your barbed wire death match, which is a barbed wire match. You send them into the ropes and their back will bleed and get cut up. Landmine. You have landmines in this, landmines, explosions in matches. I mean, that's crazy. I've seen that in Japanese wrestling before. SWA. Now, what is SWA? I'm not sure where they got it from, but it is basically a hybrid match, man. Let me show you what I'm talking about. It is like a wrestling match, but you have rounds. But if you don't want a wrestling match, you just want KOs, give up only. You could do submissions with rounds, with TKOs. Look at that. So basically, that basically becomes an MMA match with a wrestling ring. That's basically what it is. But you can do a 3 count match with let me see. You can do a 12 round wrestling match in this game. I mean, come on, make the rounds shorter, give it like boxing rules, but make it a wrestling match. Now, how crazy is that? With TKOs on. So you can do a TKO with 3 counts in a 12-round fight in this game. Are you kidding me? You can do that in Fire Pro Wrestling World. You can create your own hybrid match, whatever you want to do. You can even put guys with boxing gloves in this type of match, and they could do a hybrid boxing wrestling match. That sounds absolutely crazy. But in Fire Pro Wrestling World, you can do that. There's not too many limits in this. Gruesome fighting, that's basically like a cage fight. Like MMA. I'm going to show you here. As you can see, you have give up only with KOs. And that's really all you can do. TKO is on by default. You can't shut it off. They can basically stop the fight because you're knocked out. So this is basically like a UFC MMA type fight is what it is. I shouldn't say UFC. It's MMA cage fighting is what I should say. Okay, so that's basically what this is, but you can do long rounds. You can do 12 rounds, you know what I mean? You can do 15 rounds in this type of match, which would absolutely be nuts in real life if somebody actually did that. So yes, you do have that in here. Now, what else do you got? That's not all, okay? You have S1, which is basically kickboxing slash boxing. It's basically strikes only with rounds and stuff like that. I mean, just look at the options in this game, man. Just look at the options. Now, this time is how long the rounds are. You have how many rounds. If I want to do a 15 round fight, TKO, you can do TKO with one knockdown if you want. 5, 4, 3. 3 is obviously the typical thing. And matches is like how many falls. It's one by default. You can select more than one when you do regular wrestling matches, like 2 out of 3, something like that. And so yes, you can do. Now let me get more into that. Okay, let me go back to that just to put this into a more of a context. So here I got all my look. I got a boxer right here. I got boxers. Well, these are kickboxers, but I have all these different promotions here. These are like fighters here. These are my MMA fighters where I do my gruesome fights with. I use these guys. I mean, this game is an absolute blast. I mean, it's incredible, man. And then you got these generic wrestlers in the game, but you also have New Japan Pro Wrestling. I don't know how many of you are familiar with that, but they have their roster on here. And if you're a fan of that, if you're a fan of New Japan Pro Wrestling, you probably got this game already. But I'm telling you, this is an incredible game. I'm going to do more gameplay videos on this just to put this into context because this game right here, man, it is incredible. It's a very good game. And I think nowadays, a lot of people don't, there's a lot of people that won't mess with games that look like this. But I'm going to tell you something. The game looks good to me. It doesn't have that real look like WWE or, those type of games, WWE 2K would look. And look at these community creations I downloaded. These are, because people create these characters online and you can download and upload your community creation characters. So yeah, that's Fire Pro Wrestling World. Very, very, and then also I forgot to mention this. There's Stardom, which is a Japanese women's wrestling promotion. That's in this as well. Obviously, these promotions are not super popular in America. I understand that. I know that. And that's part of the reason why this ain't super popular in America because this game is Japanese based. I mean, it just is. It's a Japanese-based game. Therefore, it does better in Japan. You got NCPW, this is a generic promotion, but it's awesome to have all these generic opportunities, where you can just select somebody to wrestle against and have a wrestling match. This game is an absolute blast. If you're not playing this and you like wrestling games, you definitely are missing out.